W of the week. W of the week. What was
Let's
my best move
go.
of the week? Look at the photo there
Look
of
at it.
the two of us looking good, repping the Texas Roadshow with the Krim brothers.
The
They
Krim
did
ones.
awesome. So my W of the week, like, okay, let me get the cheesy stuff out first. So like meeting other people face to face. M Carius 11 and his son stopped by. I met them. Met all the people at Sports Card Investor. Met Lou Janu from Card Talk Pod. He wants to come on the show, so we might have Lou Janu as a guest on the show. That would be amazing. Met Tyler, met Ryan, met Gary V, met just a lot of really cool people. Aram and Colby from Just Baseball, met those guys. Shout out to them. Really cool peeps. So thank you, Kendall, for introducing me to those guys. And check out justbaseball.com. They do great work. Hopefully we'll be close with them and helping each other out. But my card, I have I have 3 W's of the week from the National that we can talk about we can reference throughout the show if we need to. And I think Kendall is going to love what the actual W of the week is. So I'm going to go from third place to first place just real quick. So because I got to give a shout out to Chase Krim at Texas Roadshow Cards. So Chase and I made a deal for a Jordan Poole Contenders rookie ticket auto Prism on card auto. I got that for $300. That is under comps. So thank you, Chase Krim. And it's basketball card buying season. So I was really excited to get that.
I literally almost snagged that other one while y'all were
Did you really?
Because I was like, I have the money. I know it's a good buy. And then I was like, wait a second. I don't buy basketball.
Hey,
Forgot
I
for
know.
a second.
That's funny though. Well, that's when you really know that it was a good buy when you almost bought a basketball card. So that makes me feel good.
For $300.
For everybody wondering, there were 2 of them, and I picked the one with the better auto. They both looked like they would grade about the same. So I picked the one with what I thought was the better looking auto, and I got Kendall and Chase's opinion on which one that I should take. And they kind of let me make my own decision, but they agreed that the auto that I picked was the better one. So I don't have many on-card autos, so I was pretty psyched about that. Like I think it's one of my better cards actually. And I love Jordan Poole. He's obviously high in our sports card investment report at nooffseason.com. So check that out. And shout out to Gary at Hoops and Cards, because I know he's been the one telling me like basketball card buying season is August. And I'm like, okay, well, close enough.
Here we are. Yeah.
So let me do it.
As of today it starts. I bought this card a few days ago, but it was close enough for me. So what Paul's saying is, as of today, you guys can buy his Jordan Poole card for $600.
As of today, help me double my money,
it's
guys.
buying season.
It's buying season. It'll go up from there, so we all win, right? That's what we all want. Obviously we're kidding. So I probably will list that. I think, I'll probably actually list it in November, because I noticed a huge basketball card spike when the season started last year. So if that starts to happen again and Jordan Poole is lighting it up early, I'll probably list it. If not, I'll probably list it in March or April. There's another usually like a hype spike before the playoffs, and then like if the Warriors are doing well, I think what I learned from last basketball season is that there's kind of like a championship expectations built in, because not a lot of guys really spiked for the Warriors. So I'm thinking that I would maybe sell that earlier than the playoffs. We'll see.
I would say there's probably a championship expectation for some players, but not others.
Yeah.
Like for the Warriors probably have it already baked in, but like for instance, if if the Clippers had ended up going deep, I think they would have had a bump with, like, say Leonard and not Leonard
Paul
and
George.
Kawhi. Like Leonard and Paul George were healthy and then they made a run. I think their cards would have seen a bump, but I don't think Steph's did, because everybody was just like, it was almost like inflated all the way to a championship. And it was like, if he doesn't win it, it's going to come down. But if he does, it's just going to stay where it's at, So yeah. I think it depends on the franchise, depends on the player.
For sure. All right. So then my second place win of the week, which I'm not supposed to do this, but we were at the National, so I'm doing it. Second place win of the week was a Pedri auto, second year Pedri auto, Topps Chrome, that I got in a package deal for the number one win of the week, which was an Ansu Fati on card Obsidian patch auto. And the way that this went down
I love this story.
was Kendall had made a couple of good deals. So we were feeling it. Like we were feeling the vibes. So it was my turn to make a deal. So Kendall and I were at the showcase at this one dealer showcase. And he's like, "Hey, check out, here's some of your guys' autos. Like there's a Pedri and a Fazzi auto." So Kendall actually found the cards for me. So I go over and start negotiating with the dealer. And I say, "All right, I had already kind of looked up comps a little bit. And so I knew that the Pedri was probably a good buy at about 125. It had a $150 sticker on it. The Fati, I think, also had a $150 sticker on it, but it was I think it's
125.
Okay, so 125 sticker on it, and I think it was I thought it was a good buy around 100 based on recent comps. So I say I'll give you 225 for both, I think is what I said. And the guy came back and was like, "Okay, that sounds good." And then literally like 3 full seconds later, he goes, "Actually, I'll give you the Pedri for your 125, but I'll give you the Fati for 65. And so I said, "Bet." Sign me up for that. And then I just looked at Kendall and I was like, "Wait a minute. I just offered this dude $100 for this Fati card. He came back and countered at $65. So best negotiation I've ever had in my life.
It was so weird. Like I was standing a little bit off the table. Like I was like 2 to 3 people deep watching Paul make this transaction. And then there was other people like at the table itself. Like if you've ever been to a card show, like there's kind of etiquette. Like if you're not looking at the cards, like step back, and so I'm like behind, I can kind of tell what's going on. I can hear them, but I thought I misheard it at the time. I was like, no way did that guy just say like, "You know what? I'll just take half of what I have it labeled for, even though we already agreed on you taking $20 off." And then I was like, "Did that what happen?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's crazy." And literally the only thing that I can think makes sense is that card actually comped for that, because he was saying something about he bought it earlier today or something. Anyway,
maybe. Yeah.
And he was like, he got it in another like trade deal that he had done with somebody else earlier in the day, so it wasn't his price that was on there. But
oh yeah.
But I think he was the only thing that makes sense is if that card actually does comp around $65, and he just was trying to like speed up the process of you eventually finding out that the card was only worth $65, and then just gave you for what it's going to be comped at. That's the only thing I can think of. But then even again, like we just were laughing so hard I forgot to even go look. So I don't know. It was a freaking funny thing, dude. That was
it was funny. I like to think you're right for his sake, because and that's just a quality thing to do. So and there for as much as I kind of talked on Wednesday and Thursday about things being overpriced, there was just as much quality going on with people willing to make deals and be fair and stuff. So maybe that's what he was doing. But yeah, it was pretty funny. Jamie Hauser says W of the week is catching you guys live today. Yeah, buddy, we love it. All right, so Kendall, you got a W of the week for us?
I do want to kind of address this Toa comment that is in here that him and RPO are talking about somebody potentially going missing at the sports car convention. I could totally see that as a possibility, because like I don't know the situation, I don't know the tweet, but given the city and given the situation, the amount of money that went through, I'm surprised it would be only one person like that ended up having a rough week. Like it would make sense to me that somebody went over to the casino, had too much beers to drink, and ends up somewhere where he's not supposed to be. Like maybe it's not so much like like scary related. Maybe it's just like, hey, it was kind of like a night in Vegas type thing, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Yeah, maybe he's on the ceiling of or the roof of one of the hotels or something. But
yeah, let's hope
I really could
okay.
see how that could have happened. It would make sense to me in my head. So
yeah. Southern Soccer Idiot, back to my W of the week, says give the dealer information. Yeah, less than 50%. I don't know,
Yeah.
Southern Soccer Idiot. What do you, so it's an Obsidian 2021. I mean, it's like Fati's third year, but it's a nice,
It's an RPA.
I guess it's his Obsidian.
Well, it's not an RPA.
It's not an
It's just
RPA.
PA.
It's a nice patch auto. Fati, I think, has a cool signature. It's also numbered to 75, which I didn't mention. So SSI, let us know what you think of that move. I was pretty pumped about it. And I like the Pedri auto too. So anyway, all right, Kendall, what's your W of the week, man?
Man, my W of the week was spending time with you guys as well. I don't get to see Aram and Colby very often, even though we talk a lot. Like, you know, those are guys I work with at Just Baseball. Actually, that was actually the first time I met Colby in person. So that was cool. But just the W of the week is being at the National. Even though I dogged Atlantic City, I would still do it again for the connections and the stuff, that the networking and all that stuff that's a big part of the event. And I was telling Paul, like, I think it's really significant to go because, like, sure, yeah, like there's cards there. That's the secondary thing for me. The people that are there is what's really important to me. Like Krim is there, Jimmy's there. Me and you met for the first time and had a blast and hung out pretty much the whole second day, and then got to ride a train
and
together.
Then the third day, the last day too. That was awesome.
And then traveled together, which was honestly just such a relief for me. Like, I would have been a wreck, Paul. Honestly, like I just would have been like, I don't know where I'm going, or I don't know if I would have gotten my plane on time, which somehow I did. But anyway, so that was all great. But the card part, there was tons of booths that were just like speculatory, like cool to look at type thing. Like there was tons of vintage stuff that's just super cool. We saw the Mickey Mantle that got auctioned, or one of them that's very similar to that. Like I saw a PSA 10 Mickey 52. Like that's ridiculous to even say.
That's crazy.
And all that stuff is really cool. Got to see Beckett's new like thing branding. That was really nice. We saw just some celebrities and all sorts of stuff, but like some of the booths, it's funny because like the National is set up very weird from a booth standpoint. Like it would help me if they were to like differentiate more. Like, okay, these are local card shops.
That would be amazing.
Like these are
Breakers,
like Breaker. Well, they had like the Breakers thing, but then there was like people in there that were operating like a local card shop because the Breakers like set up a booth, which is fine. But like, I don't know. I wanted more like, okay, this is where you go to watch breaks and see cool stuff being ripped. This is where you go if you're trying to make connections with the big companies like Topps, Beckett, Panini, all that stuff. And there was kind of that section too, but like I need more delineation in my head. And then there's like the local card shop place, but then then in that space there's like dudes that are just like have a collection that are just there, like the guy that I bought a Gunnar Henderson auto from, which is a big win for me. He was like literally just a guy with a bunch of cards that had a table, and so like was not a shop, not even like didn't have a PayPal address, like he's just like there.
It's weird that he got a table, but yeah, you're right. Like
he ended up being a friend of the guy who had the table.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Anyway, that was really good.
You're onto something though, and sorry to cut you off. I just think if they were to, here's how I would improve it. I'll be brief. The main stage, no one's listening to that. No one cares about it. They could take the guys that are breaking, make them not break online at their booth, because so you're walking by people that are breaking online from their booth, which
I don't know how they did that, to be honest, because the Wi-Fi was horrible.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that. But that doesn't even really make any sense to me, because you're not interacting with anyone when you're staring at your cards and breaking and talking to people online. Like, not that there's anything wrong with doing that. I get that that's their business. It just doesn't make sense to do it in the middle of a card show. But if they were breaking, if we could all hear them and they were on the main stage and they rotated those people through the main stage and filmed and showed the break on a big screen and we heard their audio, that would be sick, because then I think it's like interactive with the audience. Like, why isn't there like a live break on the main stage that everybody can see? And then you rotate those people through. And then what you do is, what I think would even be better is like what you're saying, organize the booths somehow by what strength of card you have. And I realize that that might not be possible till closer to the show because people don't really know what their inventory is. But generally, because you'd walk by a booth, a dealer booth, and you'd see all vintage baseball. Well, take all of your vintage baseball and put them all in one general area. Take all of your modern basketball and put them all in one area. I realize it's easier said than done, but I think they could do a better job of it, and it would improve the experience for people like me, for sure. Because I
was walking around the whole time looking for dang soccer cards, and I did not see like hardly any, and I was just like, where the heck are these things? I know they're here, which we ended up finding them, and it'd been all right, but.
Yeah, for sure. So Ziggy, what's up, Ziggy? Thanks for watching and being part of the live chat. I think he's got a couple good things to share here. So he says, and Ziggy, sorry we missed each other. I know I got your DM, so we'll definitely link up sometime after I move back. We'll get a card show that we're both going to be at together, maybe even before the national, and we'll link up. But anyway, Ziggy brings a good perspective here. He says Topps, Upper Deck, and Panini booths have great promo packs and giveaways. I'm going to need to maybe pay a little bit more attention to that next year. I kind of bypassed that, so that's good. And then he's commenting on the main stage, a Go GTS commercial. Not excited about the content, but it's been worse. Yeah, I mean,
I just think the main stage was less annoying this year than it was last year.
Okay.
Because the main stage audio last year was horrible, and they were in a giant concrete room, and so it was just like the reverb was out of this world, and like when they did break something, all these sirens went off and everything, and it was just like, what the heck is going on, so
that was last year in Rosemont.
Yeah, it was like a little bit of what you said, like where they had like a stage for people to like break from, but like the audio and the visual and all that kind of stuff was done pretty poorly, and so it was just annoying rather than cool, and so like anyway. But
so Ziggy says that there were some breaks on the main stage, so that's good. See, I probably wasn't paying attention to the main.
What they were ripping. Yeah,
that's funny. Sad. Yeah, they didn't know what they were ripping because of 86 Fleer. Yeah. Anyway, thanks everybody for the comments. Steve Cummings, thanks for the comments. Today. We love. He says asking for hockey, hardly anything. A little disappointing. I
saw 2 full hockey booths and I saw 0 full soccer booths. So
I was gonna say, Steve, like, I think we might suffer from I definitely have commented on things that I just missed, and people have said, well, you missed that. Like, fair enough. I saw a lot of hockey, so I fear that maybe you just missed hockey. But then again, it depends on what kind of hockey you're looking for. I don't know hockey as well as I know like 6 other sports. So hockey's like one of my weakest. So I think that maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there wasn't hockey and I just saw hockey cards that were crap. I don't know. But yeah, Kendall, I remember seeing hockey with Kendall and Kendall actually looking at some hockey. So maybe, I don't know, but that's good. Like, would love to see more hockey. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. So got Kendall's W of the week. So let's go to the